Right, away from that, let's now take a situation check around the country, and we begin with Nairobi, where Kennedy Mureithi is at Uhuru Park, where, as he reported earlier, there will be the last word of the NASA presidential candidate. And Kennedy, thank you for joining us, and tell us from where you stand, what's happening at Uhuru Park.
Well, thank you very much, Ken Mijungu. We are still here at the Uhuru Park, where we do expect probably an hour from now, Raila Odinga and other NASA principals will be making their way to this particular area. But at this particular time, is that there are young men who are their supporters and also young women who are their supporters who are making their way to this Uhuru Park. The numbers are not as much as they have always been when a rally has been called here at Uhuru Park, but there are those who are streaming in. Others are actually going out to get t-shirts and also other campaign material. And with only hours to go before elections are held, Kenyans are waiting to hear what is this that Raila will be saying, because he's already come out to say that on this particular day, the 25th of October, he'll be making a major announcement with regards to the elections that are going to be held tomorrow. In the morning, the Supreme Court has already spoken, and due to lack of quorum, they could not sit. But at this particular time, we do want to see, that means that elections will go on as planned tomorrow. But it will be interesting to hear what is this that Raila has. You know that there are several options for him on the table, because on Sunday, well, on a rally of no elections in October, he said that he has evidence with regards to what and where the ballot papers were printed. Whether it is true, it is something that we can wait to hear and see from Raila. You remember that already the IEBC has been seen severally going to the JKIA to receive ballot papers that are supposed to be used in the repeat elections slated for tomorrow. Already they have been received and they have been distributed to different parts of the country. Another possibility is probably Raila might be also calling on his supporters to turn out in large numbers tomorrow and go and vote. Those are just two scenarios that we're thinking about. Probably there are others, but we will only wait for his last word. Some of the posters here are printed saying that they are only waiting for his last word with regards to the elections that are going to be held tomorrow, according to the courts and according to IEBC. As of now, we cannot say so much, as we do not know what statement is this that will be coming from Raila. Also, you'll remember that his vice president nominee, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, has seriously been missing in action. So what is going to be told is something that we can only wait for at this particular time, Ken.
All right, Kennedy Mureithi, thank you. And Mureithi is reporting from Uhuru Park. We'll be joining Mureithi a little bit later on. Let's take you now to Kisumu. And there were demonstrations against the IEBC and the presidential election planned for tomorrow amidst preparations for the election. NTV's Oko Kusa now joins us live from Kisumu. Good afternoon, Oko. And we've seen the pictures from Kisumu. Tell us what's happening. Is the election going to take place in Kisumu tomorrow or not?
Ken, it is still unclear whether the election will really take place on this side of the world. What is happening is that in the morning we tried to take a spot check on some of the polling stations around. Actually, we were at Kisumu Central Constituency Tallying Center. That is where the town is actually located. And according to the returning officer there, Mr. John Gutai, is that they are facing some challenges, especially when it comes to transporting ballot materials. Actually, he said that they are yet to even get some of the materials from their warehouse to the tallying center, where from there where they're supposed to be distributed to the 390-something polling stations scattered around the constituency. And again, he mentioned to us that even the clerks they had trained, they are expecting like 399 clerks, but less than 20 had turned up today for the orientation. So as far as John Gutai, who is the returning officer for Kisumu Central Constituency, the fate of tomorrow's exercise still hangs in a limo, and therefore he can't, he couldn't tell us whether really this exercise is going to happen. Besides that, away from the preparations of IEBC, earlier on we witnessed demonstrations, a protest march all the way from Kondele roundabout to the IEBC offices led by the local leaders here. That is the governor and Kisumu County Senator Fred Outa led a mammoth crowd of protesters in a demonstration. As we speak now, the demonstrators have returned to Kondele roundabout, where the leaders are supposed to address them before they scatter. Actually, during when they were at the IEBC offices, the governor appealed to supporters of NASA here in Kisumu to stay away from the polling centers tomorrow, to stay indoors, not to participate in the exercise, and at the same time ask them not to provoke the police, so that this exercise, we don't witness those ugly incidences that have happened here in the past, where there have been clashes between the protesters and police. So that is basically what has transpired this morning here. And as we speak, there is a gathering and an address currently going on at Kondele roundabout. Ken, back to you.
All right, Oko Crystal reporting comprehensively from Kisumu, and obviously we'll be looking forward to Oko's report. Plus, we have a team that is now traveling to Kisumu. We'll speak to them. All right, let's take you just next to Oko is Eldoret. That's where we find Lois Wangoi, and in Uasin Gishu, she has been examining the state of preparedness for tomorrow's presidential election. Lois, good afternoon, and what's happening from where you are?
Good afternoon to you, Ken Mijungo, and indeed to you, dear viewer. Just before I narrow down to the county of Uasin Gishu, I would like just to give you a is happening in the North Rift. The North Rift has about 1.6 registered million voters who are expected to be taking to that particular presidential poll slated for Thursday. In the meantime, I did speak to my colleagues who are spread across the 7 counties here in the North Rift, who pretty much noted that it is seemingly all systems go as returning officers from those particular counties continue to prepare IEBC teams in awaiting papers. And at this particular time, we can confirm that the ballot boxes have already been received in most counties here in the North Rift. Now, narrowing down to the county of Uasin Gishu, here we have over 400,000 registered voters, and they will be taking to the poll in the over 800 registered polling stations. Now, speaking earlier to the county returning officer, Mr. Jackton Nyonje, he did note that it is also seemingly all systems go here in the county of Uasin Gishu, noting that already they have received the ballot boxes. Waiting now and to distribute the same is the arrival of the ballot papers. Now, is just to give you a feel of what is going on in the different polling stations here in the constituency of the. And what we can be able to see, if my cameraman can give you those pictures, is that the persons here from the IEBC team are just awaiting the arrival of the ballot papers, which will then be distributed to the other polling stations in these constituencies. So that is pretty much what is going on in various polling stations here in the county of Uasin Gishu. The arrival and the distribution of the ballot papers, this commencing or seemingly illustrating that it will be a voting day tomorrow here in the county of Uasin Gishu. Back to you in Nairobi, to my colleague Bridget Ngana, holding brief in the county of Nakuru.
All right, thank you very much, Lois Wangoi, reporting from Uasin Gishu. Now let's cross over to Bridget Ngana. And Bridget, tell us the preparations for tomorrow's election. How are they going, and what have you been able to see in Nakuru County?
So Ken, right now we are at the Moi Secondary School tallying station, or polling station rather, in Nakuru West constituency. And you can see that in this hall, the already preparations are ongoing. The clerks, polling clerks, are already receiving the material slated for the various polling stations within this constituency. Nakuru County has more than 1,800 polling stations in total, with about more than 900,000 registered voters, and that is according to the latest IEBC register that was being used during the August 8th elections. And they have reported here, for the ones who are going to be working with this Nakuru East constituency, they have reported here, they have been briefed, and the material is already being prepared. You see the lanterns that they may be using during the early mornings and maybe late evening hours during the vote counting in the various areas are also here. We have the ballot boxes, and also the various material that are going to be used in the elections have already arrived in the county of Nakuru. The ballot papers are already here, and we understand that they are already being distributed in the various polling stations here in Nakuru County. There are 11 constituencies, and so it's a vast county, Ken, and we are going to be here in Nakuru County keeping tabs on this process, just as we did on the 8th of August, and keep it on TV for the latest updates on the election process from Nakuru County. Ken.
All right, thank you, Bridget. And of course, Bridget, for reporting earlier about the Lake Nakuru recovery exercise. We'll be giving you an update later. But let's go further to the coast of Kenya, and we turn to Mombasa for an update on the election preparedness. That's where we find Peter Mwangangi. Peter, tell us more. What's happening in the coast?
Thank you, Ken. We are at the Chudade Secondary School here in Vita constituency, that is in Mombasa. This is the tallying center for the constituency, and earlier today we were inside the hall where ballot materials have already arrived. They are being sorted, being inspected by the IEBC officials. Right now we are just outside the hall, and if my cameraman Karim Rajan can just show, security has been heightened here. There are 2 trucks full of anti-riot police ready to secure this particular place, and actually there were 3. One just left a few minutes ago, and police officers have been saying that they will ensure that everybody who comes to vote tomorrow, they are assured of their security. And on the far end there are some public service vehicles which will be used in transporting the ballot materials and election materials, as well as the election personnel, those who are involved in the election, to their various polling stations. This constituency has 187 polling stations, and this is not the only place where ballot materials have arrived. So far, in Nyali constituency, still here in Mombasa, ballot materials have arrived. That is, which it has 165 polling stations, as well as Kisauni constituency, which tallying center is Shanzu Teachers Training College. Also, ballot materials have arrived in Taita Taveta County and also in Kilifi County, especially in Kilifi North constituency, where whose tallying center will be Kilimo Primary School. Ballot materials have already arrived, and we were just speaking a few minutes ago with an official here, that is Hussein Omar, who is the IEBC returning officer, and he told us that this afternoon they will be breaking, or rather opening the ballot papers, that is the pallets for the presidential ballot papers, to ensure that all of them are intact, and then start distributing them, as well as the other ballot materials, to the polling stations here in Mombasa. That is not the only thing that has been happening here in the county of Mombasa. Earlier today we were at a press conference with the Coast Regional Coordinator Nelson Marwa, who said that they expect those who do not want to participate in voting to stay indoors, or rather to go on with their business, but they should not attempt to disrupt the voting which will be going on. And they said that they do not expect also anybody to be on the streets doing demonstrations. Also this morning we had, there was a press conference at the governor's office. We had the Deputy Governor William Kingi and other MPs saying that, insisting there will be no election here in Mombasa. So with all these statements that are coming from the political divide, it will be interesting to see what will happen next. But finally, also we had a press conference from the Mombasa Republican Council this morning, the spokesperson dismissing rumors that they plan to disrupt the election. That was a few minutes ago, and of course we are keeping an eye on all these events, and we'll be bringing you a comprehensive report on what happens later on in the day. Ken?